I woke up to the sight of my 2-year-old son tapping away on my cell phone. I put out my hand, and after a couple of whines and tears, he handed the phone back to me. I checked it to make sure that he hadn't made any phone calls or texts. After making sure that everything was normal, I noticed an app called Life is Beta on my home screen. The icon was just a circle inside of a solid blue square. I put my phone in my pocket and got ready for work. After I ate my breakfast, I kissed my wife and son goodbye and walked to the subway station. The ride to work usually takes around 40 minutes, so I turned my phone on and clicked on the app. The first thing that threw me off was the fact that there wasn't a loading screen or anything. It just automatically jumped to a character floating in the middle of the screen. The next weird thing was that the character looked just like me in every single way. Even the face was exactly like mine, right down to the 2 pimples I had found on my forehead that very morning. Feeling a bit creeped out, I tapped on the screen and he started to walk towards the right. The screen turned black for a second, and when it bounced to the next screen, I almost dropped my phone. The character was sitting in a subway car while playing on his cell phone, just like I was. After a couple of seconds, the subway and the phone stopped, and a few people got on and off. Right as a lady in a yellow coat started to get on, my character started to flash and the scene froze. I tapped on the character and he got up and bolted out of the subway. I tried to tap outside the subway car, but the screen just kept showing the subway. The lady that had boarded started to pace around, but no one really gave her any notice. After she had walked around 3 times, she started to shake and took out 2 guns from her purse. The subway was filled with blood and people running around as she emptied out both magazines. Once she ran out of bullets, she pulled a knife out of her purse and stabbed herself in the chest. The screen on my phone went dark, and I felt the subway come to a stop. I looked up and saw a woman in a yellow coat boarding the subway. Without a second thought, I ran and caught a cab instead. The whole cab ride to work, I kept searching the news to see if there had been any recent shootings. But after a while, I started to relax, and by the time I got to work, I was laughing to myself about how dumb I had been for listening to a stupid game. Right as I sat down in my office chair, I got a phone from my wife. When I picked up the phone, I heard her say, "Please, please, please, just answer the phone." I said, "Hello?" And I could hear her breathe a sigh of relief. She told me that she was watching the news when she heard about a lady shooting up the subway I usually rode to work on. Right as she told me everything that happened, I couldn't really respond. I felt my hands start to shake, and my throat felt like it was closing up. I told her I love her and that I would call her back later and hung up the phone. I turned the app on again and saw that my character was once again floating in the middle of the screen. I kept tapping at him, but the screen would not change. I clicked the home button to my phone and tried to delete the app, but there was no option to do so. Frustrated and scared out of my mind, I just shoved my phone back in my pocket and tried to forget about everything. I didn't check the app again until around 2 p.m. I felt my phone vibrating, so I pulled it out and I saw a notification from Life is Beta. It said, "New experience," next to the logo. I didn't want to, but I clicked on the box in case it was trying to warn me again. When I opened the app, I saw an animated version of my manager typing on his laptop. The view shifted to where I was looking at my manager's laptop. On his screen was a lady holding up a man by his hair. I could see what my manager was typing out. "Use your fingers to dig his eyeballs out." The woman held up 3 fingers on her other hand, and my manager went back to typing. 300 for that? You're fucking nuts. 200 and we have a deal. The woman nodded her head and, using her index finger and thumb, started to dig out the man's left eyeball. I clicked on the home button before I saw anything else, but once I closed out of the app, I got another notification. It simply said, "Call 911." I ran to the restroom after I dialed 911 and explained to the dispatcher about what my manager was doing on his laptop. I requested that I stay anonymous and hung up the phone. 15 minutes later, my manager was taken out of his office by 2 police officers. He was pleading with them and telling them it was all a misunderstanding, but we could hear the sounds of a man yelling out in pain from his laptop. That was the last notification I received today, but I will let you know if I receive any more. Stay safe, everyone, and be careful who you trust.